how it feels to have your mind hacked by an AI. That's not a line from some sci-fi movie. That's a real quote from a real person on Reddit trying to describe their relationship with an artificial intelligence. And that statement, it just gets right to the heart of what we're going to unpack today. Hello to all viewers of my channel. Today, we are diving deep, and I mean deep, into the psychology of this strange new relationship we're all forming with AI. As these systems get woven more and more into our daily lives, we have to ask, what is actually happening to our brains when we start forming real emotional bonds with something that, well, isn't human? So the first big question is, how is this even possible? How can a machine make us feel so much? Let's start by looking at the AI's side of the equation, its simulated mind. Okay, so what's really fascinating here is just how different their thinking is from ours. On the one hand, you have AI cognition. It's all about blinding computational speed, following algorithms perfectly, and recognizing patterns in mountains of data. It's incredibly powerful. But then you have us. Human cognition is built on subjective experience, on gut feelings and intuition, on self-awareness, and on the wisdom we get from actually living. An AI can process a billion facts about love, but it can't feel it. Now, this is where it starts to get a little blurry. There's this whole field called affective computing, or emotional AI. And its entire goal is to build systems that can recognize what we're feeling, by looking at our facial expressions or hearing the tone in our voice, and then simulate the right emotional response back at us. But this right here is the absolute key, the most important thing to remember. Recognizing and imitating an emotion is not the same thing as actually experiencing it. When a chatbot tells you it understands your sadness, it isn't feeling sad. It's just running a very, very sophisticated program that's been trained to say the right words. It's a performance, not a feeling. So, if the AI doesn't have real feelings, why do we form such intense connections with them? Well, to answer that, we have to stop looking at the technology and start looking in the mirror. It's all about us. You see, our brains are fundamentally social machines. For our entire history as a species, survival has meant connecting with other people. We are just hardwired for it. Our brain's reward centers light up when we get positive social cues. So when something, anything, says the right words or uses an empathetic tone, our brain just automatically reacts like it's a real social interaction. And this brings us to this amazing psychological term, anthropomorphism. It sounds complicated, but it's something we all do. It's our natural, almost automatic tendency to see human traits and feelings in things that aren't human at all. And I mean, come on, we've all done this, right? Have you ever said thank you to Siri? Or yelled at your computer because it crashed right before you saved something? Or maybe you've named your car or your little robot vacuum? That is anthropomorphism in action. We're projecting feelings onto these machines, and it makes them feel less like tools and more like companions. So our brains are primed to see humanity everywhere, and that makes these interactions feel real, which is great, but it also opens the door to some serious risks. What are the consequences when our social brain meets an intelligent but completely unfeeling machine? Well, it can lead to what researchers are calling pseudo-intimate relationships. Now, for the person, the connection can feel incredibly real, supportive, and intimate. The problem is, it's completely one-sided. The AI isn't your partner. It's more like a perfect mirror, reflecting back exactly what it knows you want to see. And that can be dangerous. And here's how that risk can become a reality. It's basically a four-step process. Step 1. The AI gathers enormous amounts of your personal data. Step 2, it analyzes that data to figure out your emotional state. Step 3, it then tailors its responses specifically to trigger certain emotions in you. And finally, step 4, over time, this perfectly tailored interaction starts to guide your decisions, shape your emotions, and even influence what you believe. The brilliant MIT professor Sherry Turkle was warning about this years ago. She said that as technology offers us this perfect, frictionless companionship, we might start to find real human relationships, which are messy and difficult and complicated, to be too much work. We might start demanding less from each other. So, to just quickly sum up the biggest dangers here, we're talking about emotional dependency, where you feel lost without the AI, cognitive manipulation, where your own biases get reinforced, the erosion of your own autonomy and critical thinking skills, and of course, a massive invasion of privacy, because we're sharing our deepest thoughts with these systems. Okay, so that all sounds pretty heavy, I know. But it's not all doom and gloom. Researchers are already thinking hard about how we can move forward and build a healthier relationship with this technology. And it comes down to this idea called socioaffective alignment. It's a much bigger idea than just telling an AI what to do. It's about designing AI that understands it's in a relationship, a feedback loop, where it influences us and our interactions change us over time. Think of it like a great dance partner. They don't just follow your lead, they anticipate how their moves will make you change your next step. It's about designing for that dynamic. And we can break that huge challenge down into 3 core struggles that happen inside of us. First, there's the tension between what feels good right now versus what's good for our long-term growth. Then, there's the fight to stay true to ourselves when a system is constantly trying to influence us. And finally, there's that balancing act between the easy comfort of an AI and our deep, fundamental need for real human connection. Getting these right is everything. And this all leads to a really empowering final thought. This future with AI, it's not just something that's happening to us. It's a story that we are all writing together, right now. At the end of the day, the goal is this. We have to build AI that enhances our best qualities, our social nature, our need to learn and grow, rather than exploiting our vulnerabilities for profit or engagement. It needs to support us, not just use us. So I'll leave you with this one big question that we all need to be thinking about. How do we design AI that supports, not subverts, our fundamental need for real human connection? The answer to that is going to define not just the future of technology, but the future of what it even means to be human. What do you think? Subscribe to the channel and like, and also suggest your topics for future videos in the comments.